Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Brian. Hope you're doing well today. It is the 11th of December, Wednesday, December 11th. And just here to do a quick morning update, things I'm looking at, what I'm doing, just some thoughts overall on the market and various things. First things first, proud dad moment. I have to give a shout out to my son. He won the spelling bee at his school yesterday, which is a pretty amazing thing, right? You've got 15 different classrooms, various grades, 15 different classrooms of various grades. Each classroom has an intra-classroom bee, whittles it down to 2 people. And then you take the top 30 from the school, they compete, and he came out on top. And I'm really proud of him for that. So got to give my quick proud dad shout out moment there. As far as the markets go, it's December 11th. I finally got my attorney letter for my futures account, but I think at this point I may just sit out the year and use this opportunity to reflect a bit and also do some training for you guys. I haven't done a lot of trainings. There's been some things I've wanted to do, committed to doing that I haven't gotten done. And I need to get those out there. Especially, it seems like this time of the year, end of the year, people really tend to start looking forward into the next year and talk about things they're going to change and do differently. And some things I think you can change and do differently would be developing a trading plan that suits you and suits your trading style, finding the right market to trade. I think people, a lot of aspiring traders trade maybe in the wrong markets. Wrong markets for them specifically. Not that any market's better than the other. They're all just opportunity, right? But looking at what it takes to be successful, excuse me, levels of deposits that are required, levels of babysitting trades, if you will. I think there are definitely some markets that might suit a certain personality and trading style better than others. So, I want to talk a little bit about that. So, anyway, things I'm looking at. Let's just go over to it real quickly. I'll pop over here. I don't have a trade on anything right now. Just full disclosure. But some things that I have a look at. One thing we talked about the breakout box yesterday and utilizing a breakout style strategy. I was just scrolling through and looking at the CAD yen, which isn't a huge moving pair right now. I mean, it was earlier in the year, we had some wider ranges on it, but right now, I mean, it's 50 pip range over the last month, 48.7. I'm just rounding up, right? But look at opportunity, right? Today, really ever since yesterday, this currency pairing has just been sitting in a very tight range, less than 20 pips. Good opportunity in my mind to look at potential breakouts. Now, do we know which way it's going to go? Absolutely not. We have no way of knowing what's going to happen. But what we do know, yesterday was an undersized day. It sat at about 30 pips, and today we're sitting at about 17 and a half pips. Reversion to mean. The average is around 50. So logic tells us it's going to move. Now, we don't know which way it's going to move, but logic tells us it's going to move. Good opportunity to look at a potential breakout strategy, and on whatever time frame that might be that suits you specifically. But this is on an M15. We've just been sitting here, really, if you look at the bulk of what's been going on, in about a 10 pip range right here, So I think there's certainly opportunity there. Looking at that currency. Over here on the S&P, we talked earlier in the week about this 3150, but look at 3140. 3140 coming in now. The new market session obviously won't be underway for about another half hour, but in pre-regular market trading. We're coming up to this area here at 3140, and it's just kind of hitting its head. Now we see earlier in the day it broke through there and rejected it, couldn't close above it, and right now it's toying around with this. So this will be an interesting area here, 3140, just from a just price action and strict support resistance. Right now it's hitting resistance at this 3140 area. That could certainly be interesting. We'll want to see what happens, how this closes, and then what it does around the new open of the next candle. But certainly is an interesting area where it has struggled in the past, and even earlier today it rejected that. So it could be an interesting area during regular market hours to see what 3140 brings. Is it going to continue to push higher? If it does, 3150, as I mentioned before, looking out here even at wider time frames, has certainly been an area where price has struggled quite a bit. Just looking right through here, price has struggled quite a bit at that 3150 area. We are going to get lighter and lighter trading as the year goes on. We're pushing towards the end of the year. Trading is going to get the overall volume is going to start coming off a little bit, simply because you've got folks wrapping up their year, closing positions, and you've got vacations starting to happen with executives and bigger players. So it just stands to reason that's part of what's going to happen in the market. Now, when you get lighter volume in the marketplace, what happens? That can create volatility. Wider whips, because it's all about supply and demand. And if you've got a smaller supply of orders coming in and you suddenly have one big guy that wants to consume that, it's going to cause price to push one way or the other. We saw that over Thanksgiving, by the way. We talked about that as Thanksgiving was beginning. It was a light trading week. What was going to happen there could potentially push around that light volume, could potentially push higher, just by the fact that there's not a lot there to stop it with alternative selling and people selling off positions. And it did. It pushed. Second the market came back online after the Thanksgiving week, we saw a push down. Now it's been pulling back up since then. But a lot can happen. And that's where you kind of have to pick your battles, right? As we get in later into the year, do we really feel like continuing to trade is a better opportunity just to take stock of where we are and pick our? We should always really be picking our positions wisely, right? We should always have a plan for how we're going to approach the markets, and then be very specific in how we choose when to trade, right? It should be like a sniper, not just out there like a machine gunner just blasting everything, right? We want to be a sniper, be very specific about what target we're looking at and shooting for and taking our trades based on. But with that said, also keeping in mind what happens around this time of year and what happens with volumes and what other catalysts there are coming into the end of the year. Maybe it's an opportunity, depending on where you are, that you just simply want to pull back, take the time to relax, and do some other things, like, for instance, get some of the trainings out that I've talked about doing, that I feel like will help you guys. So anyway, that's where I am today. Looking at, I think there was a great opportunity over here. As we mentioned, just looking at breakout opportunities here on like this CAD yen, 17 pips on an average of 50. I think that's a great example of an opportunity to use that a breakout style strategy. And then over here, I talked a bit about the ES around this 3140 area, which I feel like is certainly going to be an interesting area as the new market session wakes up today and gets started. Certainly pre-market, it has tested that level a couple of times and rejected it. So we'll see what actually happens there when the regular trading hours begin, and see what happens with that. So anyway, that's it for now. What else do I need to talk to you guys about? Crypto, I have we can pull up a crypto chart because I was looking at it this morning actually. I'm not in a trade, but just watching ETH and Bitcoin, we've pulled back. We seem to have on both of these, we seem to have kind of come into an area again. Looks like kind of a bottom range. No one knows what's going to happen from here. Again, Bitcoin, Ethereum, a lot of your cryptos. I would stick to majors, by the way. Stick to major coins. You get, as you start getting into the altcoins, you get lower and lower and lower volume. But stick to the majors. But it looks like we're coming into, at least on a 30-minute or an hourly chart, we've kind of hit a bit of a bottom, what looks like a bottom range. Is it the bottom? I don't know. No one does. If you sit there and go out and do some research on the internet, you'll find people that are claiming it's the bottom, and you'll find people claiming it's going to fall, by another 50%. Who knows? No one knows. One of them's going to be right, but you don't know who. I don't know who. So you trade it prudently. You use a strategy that makes sense and has good math behind it, and there you go. Don't listen to the talking heads, because they don't know. Honestly, they have no idea. No one does. But what you could do is look at something like this, and again, with a breakout, you've got a very volatile marketplace. Play your top edge and your bottom edge, and look for a break. And if you get it, that's where you enter. But obviously, don't bet the farm every trade. Don't bet the farm in every trade. It should be prudent risk, so that if it moves against you, you take your loss and you move on. Not any one trade should ever be the one that makes or breaks you, right? So anyway, that's it for now. I am testing a trading platform that a friend of mine's been developing for the better part of a year now, and has been doing really, really well with it. It looks like he's probably another month or two from rolling it out to the public. But I'm in a beta test on it right now, and have been following it for, as he's been developing. Looks like a pretty amazing platform. We'll see where it goes. I'll give you more information on it as I've got some personal history behind it. So anyway, that's it for right now. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.